Welcome back to the Early Edge on CBS Sports Network, presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. We bring back Emory. We bring back Danny. It's time to unpack a lot here with the Giants, with the NFC East. Like, what do we do? What's going on? What do we think of Russell Wilson? How is this team going to win games? Emory, this is a safe space. Like, if you want to tell me you don't think Russell Wilson should be starting, you can. The floor is yours. What are you thinking?
I think they'll be solid, man. I feel like Russell Wilson still has the mental sharpness of the 25-year-old Russell Wilson. The athletic part of it is showing its age. He's not able to spin out like he used to as a younger guy. And there's a little bit more RPM, a little bit less RPMs on the velocity, but the ball still gets there on time and accurately. So he helps raise the floor of this Giants team. I think they'll be solid this season.
He raises the floor. Does he necessarily raise the ceiling? Danny, what are your thoughts on this?
I do agree he raises the floor. If you hear me say us or we a number of times, that's because I am a New York Giant myself, the 56th man on the roster. But I think he'll inject some hope for this franchise that's been needing it desperately. But ultimately, they'll disappoint again. I think that they can improve with a veteran like Wilson. But I worry about this offensive line still. We're relying on Andrew Thomas and Illuminor on the ends there. And they showed certainly improvements, but acquisitions like John Runyon didn't really add to that line. And if they can't hold up, I wonder, like Emory mentioned, if that athleticism is dwindling a little bit, how much does Wilson have? Can he stay safe there in the pocket? Can he find the time to connect with neighbors deep? I'm not sure. I think they're going to be relying a lot on this defense, but Wilson can game manage enough to keep us more competitive than a 4-13 season last year. I think that's for sure.
Well, let's go back to Neighbors here because his line set at 1,150 and a half receiving yards. You know, you have to wonder what the chemistry is going to be like, Danny, with him and Russell Wilson here. What do you think the ceiling is for Neighbors? Do you think the two of them will be successful together?
I think it's really high. Neighbors is an incredible wide receiver. He's a video game out there, and I think no matter who's under center, he's going to put up numbers. We saw him do it with practically nobody out there. He went over the number they've got him set at here. So I think with Wilson or with Jameis Winston, however it pans out, he can go over this number. We look at the New York Giants' success, but he can go over this number if they fail as well. You're looking at garbage time, trailing situations where the Giants are forced to go pass happy. Neighbors can thrive there. So we're looking at a wide receiver core that's made up of Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Malik Neighbors. I mean, he's the guy. It's got to go with him. He's going to get the target share. I think he goes way over this number.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he literally went over this number last year with respectfully no quarterback. And I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, but I do think it's at least an upgrade from what we were going with. Emory, are you aligned with us here?
Yes, because I've been out there all mini camp, OTAs, and training
Yeah.
camp. That's how I got this beautiful tan. And when you think about him going deep down the field and what jives with Russell Wilson's strength and Jameis Winston's strength, he had a play on the first day of padded practice where he just outran Paulson and Daboll, and Russ put it out there, and he connected him into the end zone on a straight just go route. I'm gonna just throw it, you go run underneath it. That was not the case when the other quarterbacks was out there last year. So he should crush this number this upcoming season.
All right, let's talk about some characters that we need to unpack that won't necessarily be wearing a helmet, but on the sideline with Brian Daboll. This will be the fourth season. Last season, it felt like he was on the hot seat. Emory, do you think he's back on the hot seat this season?
Now, I think his seat is stable, to be completely honest, because he has the ideal situation. He has two quarterbacks that can raise the floor and help this team be competitive and show improvement while also behind the scenes working on the quarterback that you drafted in the first round. The defense and the run game will be prominent this year for the Giants. They'll be efficient throwing the football, which will lead to a lot more scoring drives. This team is being criminally underrated as one of these sleeper teams that could vie and fight for that seventh seed in the NFC. That's how competitive this team is going to be. And because they'll show growth and have a developmental plan, I think his seat is stable.
Wow. I don't know if he's just been spending too much time around him at minicamp and now you don't want to hurt his feelings. Danny, say it with your chest. How do you feel about this?
Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, Emory. I'm praying the season goes like that. But I think Daboll's seat is scorching hot right now. The guy's 18-32 as a head coach over his tenure with the Giants, 9-25 in the last two seasons, and coming off an ugly last year. More than anything, I've been critical of this entire franchise, starting at the top with John Mara and Joe Shane, who have led us in an interesting direction that I don't necessarily agree with. And Mara seems to be pretty fickle, too. So you have another year without success. I think he's going to have no choice but to listen to the critics, hear the boo birds from the New York fans, and maybe make a change. So I think the seat is pretty hot for Daboll. He's got to succeed this year.
All right. Well, will succeeding Danny be going over 5.5 wins? Like, is that going to be considered exceeding expectations here? And do you even think that they can go over 5.5 wins?
I got this as a 5-12 team, Kens. I lean towards the under. I hope that they can be competitive behind the defense. I liked what they did in the draft, but I mentioned it earlier. I still don't trust the offensive line. And if we can't protect our new quarterbacks, then we're not going to get started here. Cam Scatterboo, this guy can maybe, turn up sometimes here and there in games if we see the emergence of some of the new pieces we added. But I don't think we can rely on the defense to win 6+ games here. They look to be solid, but I think we're one key injury away on offense from being depleted again. If Russell Wilson goes down, if Malik Neighbors goes down, or one of our tackles goes down on the offensive line, I really worry how we'll put up points, Kens.
I know that's the tough part. It's like you draft correctly with Abdul Carter, but you kind of just help what you were already really, really good at. So it's really hard to feel like they made that much of an improvement. Emory, do you think this defense, and now even more improved defense, can carry this team over this win total?
Yes, listen to me now, believe me later on. This team is going to go over that number. They're going to get 7 or 8 wins this season. This is a football team. The offensive line is solid this year. Evan Neal kicking down inside has been a pleasant surprise so far in training camp. And the wide receiver core is underrated because of the guy they had last year throwing the football. Now teams will see how fast and explosive this team can be on the perimeter, especially with a quarterback that can lift that umbrella off the coverage. This is going to be an exciting team to watch, trust me, this season. So I'll go over that number.
Not to kick them while you just put them in some high optimism here, but this feels like a bit of a slap in the face. Get a load of this. They are plus 700 to have the fewest wins this season, only the Browns shorter than them, and then you get the Saints, and then you get the Titans, which is very odd to me. So, Emory, I assume you don't think at plus 700 this is still worth playing to have the fewest wins.
I will say this. I would go plus 3,400 for them to have a field goal in every game of the season. So because you've raised the floor on quarterback play, you're going to move the ball down the field and get some points, and they'll have a field goal in every game this year at plus 3,400.
That is so disgusting, and I'm so on board. Thank you for the creativity you have brought to the table today. Danny, do you have any creative season-long props that you are interested in here?
I'm going back to the defensive side. You nailed it, Kens. And I'm watching it. I was talking about MMA and how I like my combat sports. Kayvon Thibodeau has been doing wrestling drills in the offseason. I think that's going to greatly improve his ability to get after the quarterback behind the best feature on this Giants team, which is their pass rushing unit, right? Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau are going to make up a nasty unit with Dexter Lawrence there on the line too. I think Kayvon can build on a season where he had 5.5 sacks, missed about 4 or 5 games due to injury, but can use those wrestling tactics those swim moves to get past the offensive lineman and to the quarterback. So I expect more progress from him and a 10+ sack season at big plus money, Kens.